Hey guys, so permaculture is not about having a wild landscape. It's about having purposeful growing of food and doing it in a way that also helps the environment, it helps the wildlife, and it grows you better food without having to use a lot of non-organic chemicals, pesticides, that kind of thing. So this is one of those instances where you do need to come in and do a little bit of supervision. Do a little bit of husbandry on your property. There are certain plants that you don't want to spread. You want very small patches of them for very useful purposes, but you don't want them spreading. Wormwood is a dewormer. It'll get rid of parasites in your animals and in yourself, and it can be eaten in very tiny doses, about once a month. Very, very tiny. That's not medical advice. I'm not telling you to eat wormwood. But it can damage your internal organs and those of your animals if they eat it regularly. So you don't want the seeds of this to spread into your pasture. It'll kill your animals, whether it's rabbits or goats or whatever it may be. You don't want them eating it every day. So this one spreads by seeds. And last year I just wasn't paying attention and it spread to this tiny, tiny little spot that doesn't get any water. And we also keep it cleared really good, so it shouldn't spread from there because it is, again, seed spread. But I'm going to go and do a little bit of maintenance right now so that I don't have to worry about it next year. You'll notice I don't have it out in the pasture itself. I have it on the margin where it's easy to get for the animals, but not something they can free feed off of. I would not put this in a food hedge for animals. Again, it's on the side. Examples of other plants that you want to watch for are grapevines. They can choke fruit trees. Comfrey, they can spread if the roots get spread. With comfrey, I'm not as concerned about that because it's chop and drop. The animals will eat a little bit of it, but it's not as toxic. Comfrey, if you get the Russian balking comfrey, it has, I'm trying to remember what is in it. It does have something in it that isn't particularly wonderful, but if you use the official comfrey, there's less of it, so there's that. But just know that there's some plants that will spread, and they'll damage the plants around them, or they'll damage your livestock, or they'll damage your property. And so just taking 5 minutes in your season and going and cutting it back before it gets into its spreading stage will save you a lot of headache and heartache later. This comfrey is around a tree that I want to live, not die, and so I need to cut it back. There's a lot of bindweed in here. If you're going to use ducks and livestock for permaculture, you need to do it in a large enough number that they can keep ahead of it. It's why if you have a small pasture, you want to graze on ropes rather than as a group, because then you can mob graze them. They're there for a short period of time, but they graze intensively, and the same thing goes for poultry as it does for goats. You can feed comfrey to livestock, ducks, goats, rabbits, everything like that. Once it really gets going, it really gets going. So I would like to use it as a mulch plant and as a feed. Comfrey is also weakened. Russian balking spreads with root rhizomes, and official comfrey spreads with roots and seeds. But official is the one that if you are going to use it internally, it's better. I'm not suggesting you use it internally. I got both. This tree is a tea tree. It's called the little leaf linden, and if I remember correctly, it's the blossoms that you harvest. Anything can be a weed. This is a great example of that. This is a grapevine that's trying to take over a plum tree as well as a pear tree. And I just need to come back and clip things back a bit, make sure that they attach to the fence and not the fruit trees. Looks like it's too late. I already have a significant vine back there that's twining into the tree. I will probably cut it back this fall rather than now so that I don't damage the vine. These are willows, riverbank willows, and they can also become a nuisance because they spread with roots and with seeds. And so you have to really keep ahead. They're wonderful because they create a very fast hedge. You can harvest them for willow baskets and you can feed them to all of your animals, but you have to make sure that they stay only where you want them. My favorite book about permaculture is Gaia's Garden, and it's the second edition by Toby Hemingway. It is amazing. It explains to you that what you want is guilds, you want trees that have bushes planted under them, and then you want things like certain kinds of daisies, narcissus put under those so that the deer will stay out of it, and then comfrey that you can cut and drop that will feed your soil. And so again, it's about design. What I love to do is have a fruit tree with a gooseberry or a saskatoon under it, and then comfrey that I can cut and drop. And for the first couple years, I baby them with rabbit manure, and I water them intensively. But after a couple years, they take care of themselves, and all I have to do is go and cut and drop the things that need to be cut back a bit to let everything else breathe. So I will put the link to that book in the description below, Gaia's Garden. Best, very